In a world of increasing mental health challenges, psychology and faith can both provide tools for healing and wellness. This is the idea behind Journey on My Mind. Each episode, our panel of pastors and therapists sit down together to share their experiences and insights on the modern world's mental health issues: depression, loneliness, aging, addiction, and so much more. Join us now as we explore what it means to thrive at the complex intersection of spirit and psychology.
Are we good?
We're good.
All right. Welcome to another Journey on My Mind. It's Dave, Sam, and Kevin at it again.
That's it.
And hoping you are having a glorious fall. I am enjoying the weather. I just wanted Dave to know that
weather.
I'm still, I'm
right out of the
paying
gate.
attention.
Oh, Grandpa.
Get up in the morning and it's a little cool outside. I can take it. The only thing I don't like about this is the short days.
My least favorite day of the whole year, every year, is the day that the time changes back. And I leave my office at like 6 o'clock and it looks like it's midnight.
Yeah.
I just hate it.
Yeah.
I do.
That's the worst part.
I hate it.
Yeah.
So this is not my favorite time of year.
No. Weather-wise,
For some people it is.
For weather, I like this time of year.
Fall is my favorite season.
Yeah.
But like Indiana fall is like, it's actually fall. It's not, I feel like Nashville, we go like summer to winter anymore.
Yeah,
it
it's
feels
like
it jumps
83
seasons
degrees
almost.
to 44 degrees.
Yeah, there's not much.
Yeah, but that's not really winter.
I know. Well,
yeah.
you know, for here.
Yeah, for here. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in for you, Dave, just to let you know I'm still paying attention to the weather. And
Shocker.
I know. And
Unreal.
And the length of the days.
Wild.
The length of the days are a little troublesome.
Here we go.
But
Moving on.
yes, moving on. Moving on.
Keeping us going.
Yeah. Can you tell which of us is a professional?
Yeah.
And
A professional what?
This guy.
and which of us are just kind of
Yeah. Define professional.
Yeah. Professional what?
You dress like you belong in like a profession. We dress like we should be working outside.
Well,
Yeah. Especially Sam. But he's always kind of looked that way.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's consistent.
I think
Sam,
we've
you're-
already established that if I put that hat on, I look like the most impaired human. I just is not
So
a
Dave,
good
what
look.
you been drinking? Well, I don't know. It has to do with
Yeah.
this hat, though. So Sam,
Yeah.
it sounds like Bleach is starting up again.
Yeah.
And you're going to go to do a festival. You just told us a little while ago that you just got booked for a festival.
Well, we got the offer. I don't know if it's not all the way contracted yet, but yeah.
Okay.
So we got looking at doing some like 15 shows in the spring and some
Wow,
festivals.
this is
Yeah,
great.
So, yeah,
Right.
I'm so excited for you guys.
It's gonna
And
be
the
fun.
opening act is going to be a magician that you know.
That's right. Yeah.
Illusionist.
Man.
Yeah. Illusionist.
I'm coming to that. When
Dude,
Dave
that bill
opens
would
for
probably
Bleach,
sell.
I'm
Yeah.
in, man.
Yeah.
I'm so in.
You got a magician.
I'm
or
doing a
illusionist?
Denver show.
Are you
not
really?
this weekend, but next. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I did
Golly.
Charlotte 2 weekends ago. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, rock
Making
on.
a
How'd
run
that
at
go,
this.
by the way?
The Charlotte show is my best show I've ever done.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was the best one.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So
Way to go.
it all kind of came together.
Okay.
The thing with the Nashville shows, which I love doing because it's
Yeah.
like, the home crowd.
Yeah.
But it's almost always the first or maybe second time I've ever done it.
Oh,
and so it's almost like I'm
your test
workshopping it
market.
still,
Yeah,
right?
your test market,
But
yeah.
now that I got it, like
Yeah.
it's super, like it flows.
Nashville gets your beta shows.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to live in Norfolk, Virginia, and for some reason, all the big acts would kick off their East Coast tour at the Hampton Coliseum because it was like a, mid-market,
Yeah.
mid-size
Yep.
arena.
Yeah.
And so I would see, I worked at a radio station literally within eyeshot of it.
Yeah.
And so they'd come hand me 2 tickets,
That's
and
amazing.
I would just see everything
That's
because
fun.
In
all
a
these
cool
bands.
spot, too,
Yeah,
a
pretty
smaller-
cool venue.
smaller
Yeah,
room
like a
and like a
10,000
huge arena. Yeah,
10,000 seater
That's cool.
kind of thing.
Oh, that's fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we digress.
Did you ever get to see Eddie Murphy live?
No.
Oh.
No. I have seen George. I did see George Carlin.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's
wow.
Trying to
even
think of-
better.
but-
I was trying not to age you, man.
This doesn't play well now, but I did see Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live.
Did he do the
I've seen
dentist routine?
Seinfeld, I think. Huh?
Did he do the dentist
Oh, yeah.
routine?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we need to move on.
Okay, I'm sorry. There are some. Regardless of how big of a
Dummy.
He is. His comedy was really funny.
Again, moving on.
Yeah. We will move on. Him and Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
Anyway, moving on. So rather than talk about those kinds of things,
which we just did.
yes, which you can edit out. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
George Carlin. That was my introduction to comedy albums.
George Carlin.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I know I just said we're going to move on, but I'm going to say my parents had this they wouldn't let me watch Welcome Back, Kotter, but I could stay in my bedroom and play the 7 dirty words you can't say on
7 words
television.
you can't say on television.
On albums, and I would listen to George Carlin albums.
Yeah.
That's funny, dude. That's random.
Yeah, it's very random.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Weigh that one.
All right, we're moving.
Okay, here
Yes.
we go.
So we've decided that today that we're going to talk about, and this has a lot of spiritual implications as well as psychological implications, is how do we grieve? Mm-hmm. And grieving is often, I think it's an often misunderstood thing, as I've talked to people, because you don't just grieve like the obvious, okay, somebody's passed away in my life and I go through a grieving process, but there's a lot of grieving that takes place just in lost things in life. Even in the moments of life when you realize, oh man, I haven't seen a good friend for a long time. There is a sense of what you're going to experience as a small bit of grief. But anyway, I'll let you frame it up, Dave.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was thinking while you're saying that all three of us are in roles where we are in the middle of people going through grief regularly.
Yeah.
Like I am on a weekly basis. You guys are on a weekly basis, right?
Yeah.
So let me first define what we're talking about, because I think that's important. But then let's talk about our sort of experience in it.
Okay.
But then there's some assumptions I want to challenge, and then some practical things
good.
I think we want to talk about.
I love that.
So the best definition I found was actually from the American Psychological Association. It's a very simple definition, but they say that grief is the anguish experienced after a significant loss, usually the death of a beloved person. Very straightforward.
Right.
A more complex definition would be grief is the multi-dimensional process, which what they mean is it's emotional, it's cognitive, it's physical, it's social, it's spiritual.
Okay.
To the permanent or significant loss of someone or something deeply meaningful. It involves the disruption of normal life, the experience of longing or yearning, and the gradual adaptation. That's grief. Okay. So this is wide open, but you can talk about your own experience, personal experience of grief, or experience professionally in being in kind of with someone, walking through grief with people. What's your experience that you want to share?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting. I think I was 30 years old before I lost somebody close. And the first person in my life that passed away was my mom. And then every year since then, and that was 2005, so 20 years ago. And it's been just multiples each year since then. Like I have a cousin that's older than me. But outside of that, I'm on my mom's side, I think the oldest living male.
Oh, wow.
My cousin, but second. And then on my dad's side, almost everyone has passed away as well. So
no kidding.
Yeah, I'm like Angela and I are kind of the
survivors of it, right?
In that way. Angela still has family that's alive.
That's intense, though.
Yeah, but is a lot of loss. Yeah. Yeah.
Did it seem to be clustered at different, where there was just multiple losses in the same year?
Yeah, here's an example. My mom died, and then her dad died 6 days later. So the two heroes in my life that were two of the most important people I lost within a week.
A week.
And my grandma lost her daughter and husband within a week, And then my father and my brother-in-law both passed away within about 3 weeks of each other. Or something
That was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That was just in 2019, I believe.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
Not too long ago. So there's been chunks. And then my last living grandma had passed away last year. She was 95. So
long life.
Yeah, she had a long, great life. Yeah.
What was the hardest of, and maybe there's not one, but
Yeah.
what were the hardest ones to kind of work through, or the ones that seemed to kind of linger the longest?
Well, that's a great question. For me, my mom, part of what happened in that situation was my mom passed away. She had died from inflammatory breast cancer, a pretty awful disease. And so she passed away, and after she died, and I get it, like everyone is just disrupted and upset. And my sister kind of, she was grieving. My stepdad was grieving, but somebody kind of had to still make decisions, and so we did as much of that as we could together. But I kind of felt like I stepped into that role, and by doing that, I just put my grieving aside and just kind of charged forward into what needed to be done. And that, about a year after that, I started experiencing panic attacks, and I didn't grieve properly.
Right. And at the time, did you know the panic attacks were related to that?
No.
Right. Because that's what happens,
idea.
right?
I had no idea. It was just, I thought I had grieved, and I'm sure I had in some forms, but I hadn't allowed myself to fully grieve that. And within about a year, I was having panic attacks, and I didn't understand what was going on, and everything just felt.
It's very common, like, and the disconnect between what's happening here and what happened before.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to make sense, right?
Yeah.
Like in your head, you're like, I'm not even thinking about that.
Right.
And so it's like, how is this related to that?
Yeah.
But it's just the accumulation of unprocessed stuff.
That's right.
And it comes to get you.
Yeah, and it came after me hard.
Yeah. I'm glad you shared that, because we're going to need to talk about helping people through that kind of thing.
Yes.
How about you? What anything you want to share personally or professionally?
Two very significant deaths early in my life. 15 years old, my aunt that I was extremely close to passed away of cancer, ovarian cancer, and she's one of the few people that saw me in life, so she was significant. And I would spend a couple weeks with them every summer. They lived on a farm, and then to watch her, she was my mom's younger sister, so to watch her die. And to watch that as a 15-year-old and not know what to do with it, didn't know what to do with it. Still, anyway. And then to watch my cousins go through it was really difficult. And then to fast forward to when I was 19, my older brother died of a freak accident. He was 21.
Yeah. And
again, during that season, nobody really talked about how to process grief or whatever. This was back in, let's see, I was 82. So think about it. I was 19 in 1982, and no one was really talking about how to process grief, at least that I was aware of. Yeah. And even if they were, I'm pretty sure I wasn't going to listen. So for me, it was trial by error. It was a lot of things that I wish I could get back that I did after my brother died. Again, a person that saw me was very significant to me. But walking through something with someone when I was a pastor probably affected me as much as those things. There was a family in my church in Harrisburg who had a child who died of sudden infant death syndrome.
Oh, that's rough.
A 5-month-old baby. What I didn't know when that happens is that the police automatically assume that you did something.
That the parent did.
So they have to run an investigation.
Right.
They have an autopsy on the kid. They do the whole thing, and they treated them awfully. So you lose your kid, and then you're treated like you're a criminal. And I can't even imagine, although walking through it with them and seeing the despair, there was so much despair. And then doing a funeral for a 6-month-old, 5-month-old baby was brutal. Coupled with then helping them walk through afterwards the implications of all that they went through was the grieving process over and over and over again. I'd like to tell you that had a happy ending. It didn't. They're no longer married. There was a lot of just abuse, alcohol abuse, a lot of different things that happened that were just awful.
Yeah. I don't have the stats handy, but I think this is true that the majority of marriages where there is a significant loss of a child don't
make it.
Yeah. I don't know what the stats are.
I don't either.
I think that is
I've heard that as
true.
well. Yeah.
And that's been my experience also.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some that do, but it's hard fought.
It is.
To stay in it. And you know, for someone outside of that, it doesn't make sense. It's like you need each other and you should be in it. But wow, it's
something about it.
Yeah. It's intense.
Yeah. And they couldn't navigate it. Right. They tried.
Yeah. Right. It's very, very hard to do.
Yeah.
Being part of a church community means being part of grief.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Because we're with multiple families of which at any given time, someone's lost a mom, a kid, a grandma, a significant person.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, please.
Even, I mean, and we might dive more into this, but experiencing grief in other ways too, not just from death, but through like relationship loss or job loss. Or, Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because it's not just deaths. It's, you know, someone who had a 30-year career that just falls out from under them.
Yeah.
It goes away. You know, they get
they
get
laid off.
Go. People that are in a committed long-term relationship that they're not married and they break up, or people that I mean, just big things.
Yes.
So all that's true.
Okay, cool.
So you guys have been on the pastor side for many, many years.
Yeah.
What is that like? I'm curious to know what it's like from your perspective of just that sort of, because there's a sense of that's just part of what we've signed up for as being part of this community.
Yeah.
But that's many years of being almost constantly in some walking through grief with somebody.
Yeah.
Describe that.
Describe walking it.
And what has that affected you? Has it changed you? What has that done for you personally?
Yeah, it's one of those things where actually in seminary, it was a class called Pastoral Duties, which they make you take early on to make sure you want to do this, you know. But part of it was you have the privilege, and this is how he framed it, of walking through life's hardest things with people and celebrating with them when they're experiencing some of the best things, like when a baby is born or when you get married or anniversaries. You get invited to all kinds of stuff.
All of it.
But you're most called upon in times of need, in great loss, in their lowest moments. And it's a privilege. I count it a privilege that somebody would include me in something that intimate and that difficult. And so if you can approach it as a privilege, and you can approach it as understanding what you're actually supposed to do in those moments, I think it's validating of the community and also validating of the presence of God. Here's what I'm going to say. It is to be invited into that moment when all is lost. And with you bring your presence, and you weep with those who weep. You bring very little answers to the question, if any, but you bring comfort, you bring presence, and hope. And for me, it is one of the reasons I still do this.
Yeah. What a great response.
Yeah. All of that Kevin just said.
What he said. That's your answer.
No, but you know, one of the things that I learned through losing my mom, you know, we've talked about platitudes and all the things, you know, people trying to be kind and say all the right things and
bring a casserole.
Yeah. But the thing and this was a teacher for me, like this experience.
Oh, for sure.
My friend, one of my guys I grew up with, like everybody had been like, oh, you know, all the things people, oh, heaven needed another angel. I'm like, shut up. I want my mom here.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't care about that right
Awful
now. You know,
stuff.
all that kind of stuff. People from trying to be kind. But my friend just came up, and it was kind of after things had, I feel like it was at the memorial, and he just said, I love you, Sam, and just hugged me and just cried with me. Like 10 minutes, we're probably just sitting there hugging. And that was the most healing experience I had in all of that. And it was, to your point, presence and just someone just being in it with me for that moment.
Man, I think that's where we're going to land, but we'll go ahead and say, no, I love it. But it's, you said this, that you don't have answers.
No.
And you said that it's just walking through it, being with them. You said the same thing. And I think that's what we need to, for people that are on the supporting side, what I've heard many times is people say, I don't know what to say. Right. I don't know what to do. It's like what your friend did is what you do, right? Yeah. You just are present. Yep. It's a presence.
That's it, man.
Yeah. So
huge.
We'll hopefully come back to that.
Okay.
But so I want to talk about grief psychologically and spiritually. And we've already teed this up really well. But all of us have heard about Kubler-Ross's stages of grief, like Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And by the way, I did this is just a total sidebar, but I did a writing conference. I've done many of them. And with the guy who wrote Groundhog Day.
Oh, way, dude.
Danny Rubin. So I was at this thing and he was amazing, my teacher.
Man. That's so good.
And he based Groundhog Day on the stages of grief. Every day is a different stage of grief.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I need to go watch that again because I've never heard that. Wow.
So here's the stages of grief according to Kubler-Ross. This was out in 1969. She did this based on interviews with people.
69?
It's been around that long. Wow.
Yeah, there's a book called Death and Dying. She interviewed.
No one gave me that book when I was going through.
Well, maybe they shouldn't, because hear what I'm going to say. It was based on terminally ill patients.
Okay.
And she interviewed them, and then she came up with, this is what people go through. They go through these stages. First is denial. This can't be happening. This isn't happening. I can't get my head around it. Then there's anger that comes out. Then there's bargaining, which is sort of either bargaining with God or bargaining with, like, if I get through this and I'm going to change my ways and all that stuff. Then there's depression. And then there's acceptance.
Right.
Some other people have added a 6th stage, which is meaning making, finding meaning. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cut to the punchline.
Okay.
This actually doesn't hold up.
Okay.
The research on it isn't strong.
Okay.
At all. And yet it's so much in the culture that people talk about it as if this is sort of the definitive gospel. Right. Yep. It's not that it doesn't have any benefit or any utility or any truth. It's just what we've found is in the research, people don't go through stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. They go stage 1, 2, 3,
back
4,
to
1,
3, 4, 2.
Right.
It's all around.
And sometimes they're in 2 stages at once, seemingly. Like they're sort of bargaining and they're mad. And they're kind of right. And so the idea that it's stages that you go through and you get to this point of acceptance doesn't seem to hold up.
So basically those things are all true. They're just not necessarily in those orders. Is that what you
They can be true.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're not necessarily linear.
Right.
They'll go from 1 to 5.
Right. Generally, my experience is that's not.
Totally.
That is accurate to my experience.
Right.
What you're saying is true.
Yeah. So they go 1 and then they skip up to 3 and then they go back to this, or they, it's non-linear.
So,
and within individual variation, there's lots of differences. In other words, someone might not go through this at all.
Yeah.
Someone might be stuck in a stage, quote stage.
Yeah. Or you're just angry.
Right. They just stay angry.
Yes.
Right. And then they, they're here and there. So in some ways there's some benefit to it, but in a lot of ways that what's in the kind of the ether in the culture, that this is, or someone, starts with this sort of denial, and then they do this and then this, just doesn't seem to hold up. And it's not super helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you think about it as a progression, you go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. If we add that, doesn't seem to be a lot of people's experience. It's some people's experience.
Yeah.
And that people go backward. They're at 2 stages at once. And then some people don't do it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's some people that just, they're more, they don't move through all these stages. They just sort of get to this place where they move on. Now, debatable, because you did that.
Yeah.
And then you paid the price later.
That wasn't helpful.
And I've seen that many times. I actually see people often at that point.
Yeah.
Where their brain and their body won't allow them to keep going. And so they are having panic attacks or they're
It's also
really
when I
depressed.
stepped back into therapy again too. Like it was a combo. It was medication and therapy.
Yeah. So I sometimes will see somebody right after, a parent has died. I'll see like a college student or something. But I often will see someone here 6 months, a year, 2 years later, and they have the disconnection between whatever's going on, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, substance abuse, seems very unrelated
to the death
thing that happened.
Yeah.
But it usually is.
Yeah.
So I think one of the points I want to put out there is there's not this grief roadmap.
Right.
Right. That's not, we don't ask people to, keep on this sort of like you go here to here to here.
Stay in the denial for a while.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Or stay,
No, you don't want them to stay.
No, I'm just saying like,
don't stay there.
Yeah.
Yes,
for sure. Should we edit that part? I don't want anybody to hear that wrong. I was making a play on that. Sorry. Okay.
Stay in acceptance.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then maybe sometimes it's better to think about how someone's functioning rather than what stage they're in.
Okay.
More focusing on functioning.
Okay.
Is someone mentally, emotionally, physically functioning well?
Yeah.
More so than are they at X, Y, or Z stage?
Yeah.
And so I like the idea that we think about this on different dimensions, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and really getting a sense of like, where is somebody in these, and it could be up and down, right? It's like a bar graph. You could be, they're doing great physically, they're working out or whatever, eating well, but they're still emotionally struggling. Spiritually, they're feel very distant. They feel right.
Yeah.
That feels more real and helpful.
Yeah.
In that way, would you?
That's what I feel like I've experienced as I've walked with people through as well.
Yeah.
So last thing I want to say, and then we'll talk about things that are helpful.
Okay. Yeah.
There is this diagnosis in the diagnostic manual called prolonged grief disorder. I'm going to describe it and then I'm going to critique it.
Okay.
So prolonged grief disorder it's the death of a close person, followed by 12 months later, the person is still having symptoms.
Okay.
And there's this intense yearning or longing for the person. There's a preoccupation with it.
Right.
And then there are things like disbelief about the death, emotional pain, difficulty in re-engaging with life, avoidance of anything that reminds them of the person, sense of emptiness, and that all these things are affecting their functioning.
Yep.
Now, here's the good and the not good of that. This is highly debated in psychology circles. It's like the argument is grief is a normal thing that people should experience, and who are we to judge like when somebody should be done with this, and who are we to what that should look like. And I agree with that we don't want to pathologize grief. Grief is something like we should feel.
Yeah.
But what is good about something like this trying to get at is that it opens it up for someone to seek help in a way that can be paid for by insurance or paid for by that's the benefit, is that it opens up an avenue for somebody who gets like they've been in it for a long time and it's affecting their functioning. I think over and over again, the thing the diagnostic manual does pretty well. There's a lot of flaws in it. It's not anywhere close to being the inerrant book.
Or DSM
Right.
Volume 6.
Yeah, that's where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it always tends to talk about do these symptoms affect someone's functioning?
Right.
It's not just, do you feel sad?
Right.
Right.
It's like, are you sad and
You can't go to work.
You can't
XYZ.
be a parent, and you can't
Yeah.
participate in work, and you can't. That's and I think that's good.
So they've made this a diagnosis then. So
They haven't made grief per se. They've made what they call prolonged grief. It's where like a year later, you're still really stuck and you can't move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is out there as a diagnosis,
Okay.
Yeah.
and it is debated still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted
That's
to,
interesting,
to say
yeah.
that. So let's talk about things that help.
Okay. Yes, that
All right.
would be.
I think you guys already said the biggie. I really do. I think the thing that helps, and this is, I'm talking on both sides of it, the person that is in grief and the person that's walking through it, is having the presence of other people.
Yeah.
Not advice, not platitudes,
Yeah.
not nice things to say, not wisdom,
Right.
just presence.
Yep.
Being there. Elle and I have an experience where we got a call late at night from a couple that something really bad had happened. We drove about an hour and a half and we sat with them. And I don't know if we said a word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I can't, my recollection of it is we just all sat there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? So that is more powerful than
Oh yeah.
than any nice thing you could say, or any wisdom, or any
Yeah.
advice.
Right.
You guys
I
all
agree
experienced that.
100%. Yes. Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I mean, I
your
feel
presence.
like in not just with death, but in different ways, a large part of kind of what my job entails, what I do here during, it comes from who I am. Is practicing presence with people. You know.
I would agree.
Yeah.
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 I really relate to that.
It's part of Jewish custom too.
Yeah.
That you just go and be with them. You just maybe you bring some food, but you're just with them.
You go and
Yeah.
sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go and sit.
That's it. So what I would say to somebody who is on the grieving side or is in grieving, as much as you're able, continue to stay in relationship with people who you love and care about and trust.
Yeah.
And don't pull away.
Yes.
Right? The social support is huge.
Yes.
Yep.
The tendency to be like, I don't want to be a burden.
Right.
I want them to reach out and I don't want to be the one to reach out. All those kinds of things that will go through your head. Just push against that. And like, you need to be with people as much as, now sometimes you have to trust that there are times when you shouldn't be with people,
Right.
but as much as you can. And then the person that's walking through it to just be like, free yourself of the need to be the wise person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just be present.
Yeah.
Don't say any of the things that
Yeah. All the things.
All the things.
all the attempts to be kind that are really
Right.
awful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be in it.
Yep.
It's really good. Yep.
Now, there are a couple other things, but what other things have you found are helpful to people who are going through a grief process?
If as much as you can, not just being present, but empathizing. There's
Yeah.
there's being present and being distant, and there's present and being engaged. Engaged does not mean you talk. Engaged means you're feeling what they're feeling, and then they don't feel as alone in whatever it is that they're grieving, and you don't want them to feel alone. The isolation is soul killing. The other thing that I found that over the years that's been helpful for people is just a now I guess it would be a text. Hey, just praying and thinking of you, and and let them know that they're not forgotten, that you haven't forgotten what they're going through.
It's like a little touch.
Yeah, I used to do that with notes in the mail.
Yeah.
And a phone call or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a connection piece that has to be maintained. I might be repeating what it means to be present, but I think,
Or maybe a different aspect of presence.
yeah, one of the things I did for my mom over the last, I don't know, let's see, my 40 years,
Yeah.
was I would call my mom on my brother's birthday. and because that was the day, like that she would sit and be alone.
Yeah.
And in it by herself. He died when he was 21, and she felt it the rest of her life.
Yeah.
So, but there were certain days, and those days were his birthday.
Where she really felt,
it was. Yeah. So I would call her on my brother's birthday every year.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
We would have a moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, presence is the big one.
That's the biggie.
The big one. I mean, I also, when appropriate, right? I mean, I talk about this all the time, but gentle curiosity too.
Yeah.
Right. Just like sometimes I know that when my friend just loved on me, I wanted to express, I wanted to share, I wanted to talk. You know, it helped open up something in me that maybe felt closed from all the other things coming this way. So I've found that sometimes people really do want to talk or express, but they need to know that you're not trying to fix them, or that it's safe. Or so I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to explain the psychology of that, because this is important.
Okay.
Because when something bad happens, people say you need to talk about it. And since I see a lot of young adult guys who don't like to talk about emotions, they're like, the response back is, why do I need to talk about it? It's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to tell you why you need to talk about it. And this is the kind of brain biology and also the psychology of this whole thing.
Yeah.
When we experience something emotional, it's in the middle part of our brain, in our limbic system, that's what's reacting. And that part is very dumb. And it's very, I will say, primitive.
Yeah.
It just reacts. It knows something's wrong, and it reacts. The front part of our brain, which developed later, is in a different department.
Yeah.
It's like having two departments in the same agency that don't talk to each other, don't have the same software or whatever.
Yeah. They're siloed. Yeah.
They're siloed.
Yeah.
So you have to take this experience that is emotional and bring it into the other department to put language to it. And that's how your brain makes sense of things. That language is the way that our brains understand things.
That helps connect the dots.
Yes. So you're having an experience that's an emotional experience, but it's not processed. It's not understood. And so you have to bring it forward. And that's why someone might experience a loss and all of a sudden become rageful. Right. And you're like, why are you mad? This is something sad. Or they might become very fearful. It's because that experience emotionally is unformed, and it's going to come out in a vulnerable way. Like if somebody's more prone to anger, it's going to come out as anger. If they're more prone to anxiety, it's going to come out as anxiety. When you bring it into the front part of your brain goes, oh, and just having what you're describing, someone that can guide a process of just like, what happened? How are you feeling? What is that? Just sort of curious and not judgmental and not sort of leading. Helps your brain get a handle on things. And so sometimes people pull back and they don't want to talk about it because it's painful, or they don't want to talk about it because the thing you'll hear often is they don't want to burden other people. But they really need to. And so they can do that with their natural social support. They can do that with a therapist. They can also do it in journaling. And so anything that is language-based, word-based, where you're taking an experience and you're trying to give it form, is super important in this whole process.
So you're pulling it from the primitive and giving it a way to respond, or a way to
a way of make meaning of it, a way of understanding it, a way of and that is what, when we talk about someone processing something, when they're processing it, they're needing to give it form, because otherwise it's in this sort of,
it's chaotic.
It's this Chernobyl, right? It's
totally.
Just this radioactive ball that's just back there, right? And you have to bring it into the front part of your brain to kind of begin to form it. So,
and in a spiritual practice, that's probably how I processed some grief early in my life. Was I started to write prayers to God about it. There was no one to talk to about it. So
like rather than journal, you just
I wrote
that's a form of journal.
it is.
It was journal.
Yeah.
journaling,
So
yeah.
I was able to. That probably was the most helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And my frontal lobe wasn't fully developed, so that was also part of the problem.
Yeah, and that hadn't changed a whole.
No,
Yeah,
it hasn't,
yeah.
and that is still a problem.
Heard mine's finishing out tomorrow, so I'm stoked.
But that's really good.
Yeah.
Because getting people to talk about how and where they're at and what they're feeling also helps them hear themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
It just, you begin to recognize, oh, this sounds, and you come to the conclusion. I remember saying something out loud one time and going to myself, that's irrational.
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense.
But you only get there once you put language to it.
Correct.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Because otherwise it's just thoughts in your head or it's the wrong voice you're listening to or whatever. That's really good.
That's why it's important.
Mm-hmm.
2 more quick things.
Okay.
The first is when someone has a major loss, they're in grief, it's very common for them to experience depression.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a normal reaction.
Yeah.
What I will say is depression is insidious because unlike other conditions, if you have another, like a physical condition, typically your body does things to get rid of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have an infection, white blood cells attack it. If you have
like
the
that.
flu, you're going to
Your immune
vomit
system, yeah.
and
Yeah.
the other
Get it all
end
out of there.
and sneeze and cough and sweat and all the things,
Yeah.
right? And your body's like, get rid of
Processing
this
it
thing.
through. Yeah.
Yeah.
The insidious part of depression is that it makes you want to do everything that is the opposite of what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of engaging with people, you want to isolate.
Yeah.
Instead of being active, you want to be sedentary. Instead of being optimistic, you want to be pessimistic and cynical.
Yep.
So you just have to be aware that your brain is flipped and it's telling you or desires to do the things that keep you stuck in it.
Yeah.
It's a weird process, but that's what's happening.
In depression specifically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is just knowing that can be very helpful.
Yeah.
So one of the things I would say is if someone's experienced a big loss, yes, to staying connected, but also you're not going to want to do this, but as much activity as you can have. And I mean like working out or walking or whatever, but I also mean like go do things.
Yeah.
The more of that, the better.
Yeah.
And I know some people would be like, I just don't have the energy
Feels
for it. I can't do
counterintuitive or-
it.
yeah.
I get that. But as a therapist, what I would say is, I hear you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, can we do this incrementally and just start moving toward it?
Right.
Good.
That's it.
Yeah.
The second last thing is this is more for the helper or the person walking through it. Is if someone's experienced a big loss, either make a mental note or literally a reminder, and I'll do this 1 month out, 2 months out, 3 months out, and that. What happens is something bad happens and everybody just sort of swarms the person
Yep.
and they bring casseroles and they're there and they're there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a month later, it's crickets.
People forget.
It's
Yeah.
crickets. And that's when it's just awful for the
That's
person.
right. That is
And
so
2 months
true.
later, it's really crickets.
Yep.
So part of the taking care of is making sure that it's not just like, hey, in that first week we went to the memorial and we brought the meal train and we did all this stuff.
Huh?
It's right.
With it.
Staying
Yeah.
engaged.
It's like
That's
making
right.
sure that a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later,
Yep.
there is attempts to reach out, attempts to check in, attempts to kind of stay engaged, as you're saying.
Yeah.
So
It's good.
that's what I would say. to
Yeah.
that.
And that is hard to do because they have a tendency then to withdraw more.
Right. And that is also where the person in the grieving process, and I think all of us have been in that personally and professionally, the tendency at that point is when they start feeling that distance to get really cynical.
Yep.
Right. And to get very, very dark in the thoughts about like, people aren't really there for me. They're not really my friends. They don't really, right.
Yeah.
And it feels so weird to be and have this massive grief and life just goes on.
Right.
And the world just keeps
Yes.
spinning on its axis and it just feels so strange.
Yeah.
So part of that is for people walking through it with someone is just be very mindful that you need to, this is not a, the memorial happened, the celebration of life happened and we're all, okay, whew.
Yeah. No.
It's being in it.
Ongoing.
It's a long thing.
Showing up.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep. Well, thanks for joining us on another Journey on My Mind. We'll catch you in a couple weeks.
See you soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Journey on My Mind. If you enjoyed it, please help us spread the word by leaving us a review and sharing it on your social media. Journey on My Mind is a production of Journey Church in Brentwood, Tennessee. Edwin Rivera III is the show's producer with technical assistance from Randy Hansen. Grant Opperman edits the show. If you have a suggestion for a future topic or a question, you can text us at 615-861-9503. And if you would like to talk to someone about spiritual or mental health issues, you can email our care pastor, Sam Barnhart, at sam@journeytn.com.